Now, in high definition, coverage you can count on. This is WTVM News Leader 9.
Two fugitives finally in the custody of law enforcement tonight on the News at 5. We'll tell you who they're accused of attacking and the charges they're now facing in Columbus.
Plus, a Muskogee County prison inmate walks away. We'll tell you where he was last seen.
And a burglary suspect confesses to a string of crimes around the Fountain City. Straight ahead on the News at 5, how to keep your home safe from criminals. Good Friday evening. Thanks for joining us here on the News at 5. I'm Jason Dennis.
And I'm Barbara Goche. There you go. Storms brewing over the Chattahoochee Valley this evening. The rumblings could be heard here at our studios in Columbus, setting the stage for what could be a downpour across the area. And here's a look at some of the video shot along Macon Road, showing just how difficult things got for drivers late this afternoon. Let's toss it right over to Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid for our first check of the forecast. Derek?
Yeah, guys, that's how these summer storms can be. We have not seen as many of them around the valley today, but the ones that are out there packing a punch, including that one that just passed through the Fountain City. And there's still some lingering rain and stormy weather around, but the heaviest part of that storm is now pushed over into parts of Lee and Russell counties, where you see some of the oranges and reds indicating some of the heavier rain just south of Ladonia, south of the city of Crawford as well there in extreme northern Russell County. That storm moving very, very slowly off to the west, so that's why we've seen some of those street flooding issues out there today. But again, not as many storms today as we had yesterday, and we do expect the overall coverage to stay fairly low for our Saturday and Sunday too. So a decent looking weekend coming up for us. But we'll keep those rain chances in there tonight. Most spots staying dry, others getting some heavier rain and some stormy weather, as is often the case here in the summertime. And I want to thank our umbrella winner tonight, Robert Swinson from Columbus, Georgia. You definitely needed it out there in the Fountain City today. We'll talk about more of those rain chances for you coming up later in the show, guys.
Thanks, Derek. Well, first at 5, the hunt for a pair of Columbus men wanted in connection to a string of armed robberies has now come to an end after a local cab driver is found wounded inside his cab. Newsletter 9's Brittany Dion joins us now with details on what police say happened in this case.
Well, Jason, 19-year-old Nicholas Jamise Thomas and 22-year-old Terrence Lamar Sanders are being held in the Muskogee County Jail without bond for a multitude of crimes that have occurred on the same day. Investigators report witnesses helped them narrow in on the two suspects. Police say on June 10th, Thomas and Sanders robbed several people at gunpoint and even wounded a cab driver. The victim was found inside his cab at the G&B Food Mart on the 700 block of Brown Avenue with a gunshot wound to the upper torso. Now, the cab driver was transported to Midtown Medical Center where he was treated and released. Thomas and Sanders are facing a slew of charges, including aggravated assault and several armed robbery and gun charges. The case has now been forwarded over to Superior Court. Back to you, Barbara.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Also new at 5 tonight, a Muskogee County inmate on the run after officials say he took off from his work detail in Columbus. 26-year-old Avery Javon Kirksey was working off Amber Drive near Kendrick High School when he walked off of this afternoon around 1 o'clock. He is in prison on drug possession charges. If you have any information on where Kirksey may be, you're asked to contact police.
Also new tonight at 5, a burglary suspect confesses to a string of crimes across the city of Columbus. 31-year-old Charles Johnson was picked up by Columbus police from the Muskogee County Jail and questioned about the burglaries which happened at several stores over a number of weeks. Johnson is accused of stealing primarily cigarettes, among other things. We spoke with Columbus police about how homeowners and businesses can protect themselves from being targets.
One of the things that does help is having vehicles, in your driveway at your residence to, even if someone's not there, as a general rule, most burglars will take the path of least resistance, and that would be an empty home. If they believe someone is there, they will generally pass that residence up.
Officials say the suspect, Charles Johnson, was able to gain entry through the roofs of the businesses to avoid triggering the alarm.
No jail time for a Russell County teen accused of plotting to use homemade explosives against his classmates. Derek Strout was sentenced to 5 years probation for the terror plot. Strout had been out on bond and on electronic monitoring after being arrested in January of 2013. Now that electronic monitoring has been removed. Some other requirements of today's sentencing: he is not allowed to use a computer except for the purposes of getting his GED.
The Phoenix City Board of Education is now asking the courts to silence the community of concerned clergy. This comes just 2 weeks after the group filed a civil suit against the PCBOE, claiming they violated state laws when hiring Superintendent Randy Wilkes recently. News Leader 9's Tyra McCoy talked to the attorney involved.
The Phoenix City Board of Education files a motion to dismiss complaints brought forth by the Community of Concerned Clergy, or CCC, on July 10th. It's an action Joseph Wiley, the attorney for the CCC, says is not cause for alarm.
We think the evidence is going to show that the board deliberately kept that process secretive and deliberately did not make it an open public process.
The document outlines 12 reasons why the board feels Dr. Isaac Hudson and the Community of Concerned Clergy's complaints are invalid, ranging from failure to verify complaints to failure to identify the proper entity.
The motion also says that the Phoenix City Board of Education's reputation has been damaged by the claims put forth by the Community of Concerned Clergy, and the Board of Education says that they want to have something done about it, even asking the courts to have some legal ramifications for the Community of Concerned Clergy to stop doing what they are calling wrongful conduct.
Wiley calls the Board of Education's request a first.
Well, it's unique. It's one of the first times that I have seen a public board ask a court for an injunction against an advocacy group.
Wiley says a request to stop the Community of Concerned Clergy from voicing their concerns is a violation of the constitutional rights of its members, but adds the decision whether to do so or not is not left up to him.
It's before the judge now, and so that we'll see in the coming days.
Now, at this point, Wiley says he and Dr. Hudson do plan to amend parts of their complaints and counter the Board of Education's claim. He tells me the next steps in this case will be determined by Judge Bellamy in no more than 20 days. For more on this story, as well as the original lawsuit and a follow-up, head to our website, WTVM.com. Back to you, Barbara.
All right, Tyrone, thank you. Residents in Marion County say there's something wrong when they turn on their faucets. They say their tap water has been various shades of yellow and brown, and they don't know whether it's safe to drink. Many residents have started buying water from stores. They say it's staining their sinks, their tubs, and even their clothes, but city officials say the water is harmless.
Iron's not one of the criteria that EPD requires us to test on a monthly basis. It's not deemed a health hazard, and at the levels that we're measuring, it's not within the health range.
Now, the county manager says the iron is just recently causing discoloration to the water because the county recently fixed broken pipes that's sending the water flowing over greater distances. He says the problem won't be visible after a few weeks. County officials say they're going to treat the water with phosphates and that will get everything, they say, back to normal.
We are now in National Cord Blood Awareness Month. Cord blood is rich with stem cells and can treat, even cure, sickle cell disease, leukemia, lymphoma, and more than 80 kinds of cancer. East Alabama Medical Center is proud to be among the first healthcare centers in Alabama to begin collecting cord blood after deliveries since 2007. Our Elizabeth White joins us live from our East Alabama newsroom with more on this. Liz?
Hey, good afternoon, Jason. You know, East Alabama Medical Center has been collecting cord blood donations via Life Cord and Life South for 7 years now. They were one of the first hospitals in the state of Alabama to start this. At that time, EAMC has received notification their patients' donations of blood from the umbilical cords have gone to save 10 people fighting life-threatening illnesses all across the world. Cord blood is rich in stem cells, and matches are easier to make compared to other donation methods like marrow. The procedure does not interrupt your birthing process. It's free, it's safe, and it is painless. East Alabama Medical Center collected more than 600 units last year, and as word spreads about how easy this donation process is, more families are actually making this gift a very special part of their birthing plan, and lives, like we told you, are being saved. Now, in a survey by ABC News, 95% of moms say they would have donated their cord blood had they known how valuable it was. If you don't donate, essentially it's thrown away as trash. So the key is awareness and educating new moms on this life-saving gift. Reporting in East Alabama, Elizabeth White, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, thank you, Liz. Coming up, it is raining now, but the heat is definitely an issue this summer. Up next, we'll talk about the responsibilities of landlords when residents find it hard to keep cool.
And a man who's accused of shooting his estranged wife's family faces a judge. We'll tell you about his collapse in court and what his attorneys have to say about this man's mental state.
And we're still watching some stronger storms out there across the valley. We'll be tracking these for you and have a look at what to expect for your weekend coming up.
Weather coverage you can count on from Storm Team 9 and the area's only live Doppler 9.
Well, here's a live look out there on what has been a stormy day in the Fountain City. 76 degrees, our current temperature, about 1/4 of an inch of rain at the Ashley Furniture Home Stores. Our camera looking back into the eastern sky where there are still some showers and storms ongoing in the Fountain City. Let's go over to TrueView Max. We'll show you there by Thursday and Friday. By the way, guys, the movie on the lawn at the library tonight, Frozen, that has been postponed. They're going to announce a new date for that on Monday, thanks to the rain that we've got.
Because you made a good joke going into weather. Now it is
unfrozen.
Unfrozen.
Yeah, it's just wet.
It's the sing-along version too. I was looking forward to singing, Let It Go.
Would have been a good one tonight, but yeah, too wet for that.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Right. It's hard to imagine spending these hot, humid summer days without air conditioners. So what happens if your AC units break and your landlord isn't fixing it?
Our Sarah Lim met with some local experts today to look into what landlords and tenants need to do when AC units and other systems go out. Sarah is in the newsroom now with the details. Sarah?
Good evening, Barbara and Jason. I spoke with a local attorney who says landlords are primarily responsible for major systems like roof leaks, gas leaks, and AC units. Brad Dodds with Day & Dodds Law Firm says the specifics for what the landlords are responsible for will be contained in the contract between the landlord and the tenant. He says tenants need to make their requests for repairs in writing, and landlords need to respond in a timely manner and let tenants know how long they need to wait to have their systems fixed.
Almost always the request for repair should be in writing, primarily so that you have a list of items that you know that you've asked for the repair to be made, so that if the repair is not made, then you have a paper trail that you can present in court. The specifics of what a landlord is responsible for are primarily going to be contained in the contract between the landlord and the tenant.
If your landlord won't fix your AC units or other systems in a timely manner, you need to review your contract to see what your landlord is responsible for. Then make a paper trail of the requests that you have made. And if you spend money on these fixtures yourself, keep the receipt so you have the ability to prove your damages in court. Now, I'll have the full story for you on News Leader 9 at 6. I also spoke with the district manager at Greystone Property to see what renters need to do if their AC units as well as other systems aren't being fixed for months. In the newsroom, I'm Sarah Lim for WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, we thank you, Sarah. A Texas family shot execution style, and the man accused of pulling the trigger faces charges in court. We'll show you what happened and what was decided today.
And the battle at the border wages on. Up next, see what came out of Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson's visit to Texas today. Stay with us.